Hello, America. It's me, your president, Donald Trump. Today, we're going to learn about philosophers and philosophies and such. So, we're going to look at three guys we got coming on the show today. We got Adam Smith, we got John Stuart Mill, and we got Thomas Hobbes. My people tell me these guys are wonderful, they're great, the very, very best, so I look forward to seeing what they have. Hello, you must be Thomas Hobbes.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Trump.
Nice to meet you. Let's take a seat. This is your interview for the Philosopher Apprentice. Rules are simple. I'll check your Twitter feed, and I'll ask you some questions, and you're going to give me answers.
Sounds great.
Alright. Question 1. What are your views on human nature?
I believe that human nature is characterized by fear, violence, and dangerous self-interest. I believe that human beings naturally desire the power to live well, and that they will never be satisfied with the power they have without acquiring more power. It is an endless cycle that inflicts conflict into the lives of innocent people. People tend to think that my view is negative. This is mainly because people cannot be trusted enough to act in accordance with the views and the laws that the state creates, endangering citizens of a nation. In order for a nation to be strong and to survive, some basic individual freedoms must be sacrificed for the greater good of the state.
Security is the best. It's greatest. It's wonderful. So, why is your view considered negative?
Because my solution is to place a leader or one person of maximum power at the top of the people. One powerful and strong leader would eliminate all conflict within a society, as there would be no struggle for power amongst the population. I strongly believe that societal strife and all chances of a civil war could eliminate if the central government was as powerful as a Leviathan and controlled many aspects of the lives of its citizens. Individuals must unite to be a part of these strong nations, to ensure the success and prosperity of the future of that nation. The role of the citizens in these nations is very simple: to obey those in power.
So, you write about the natural state. What is it, and what do you define it as?
The natural state of mankind is that without a government. The state of nature is natural in one specific sense only, without government. The only authority that naturally exists among human beings is that of a mother over her child, because the child is so very much weaker than the mother. Among the rest of the people, this is invariably not the case. Some of us are not as much stronger than others. Therefore, they will inevitably feel the need to take power for themselves. This is why the strongest member should rule over all. This would be an artificial state of mankind and is the only way people are able to survive. I just finished speaking with Thomas Hobbes. His views about security, great, loved them. But his views about one leader controlling everyone means that nobody's really free except the guy at the top. That's very bad. Plus, he is both a fascist and a communist. That's not good. So, I'm not gonna go with him. He's not good, and communism's bad. So, you believe in a dictatorship? I only believe in one regime, fascist or communist, whichever one has the strongest leader.
Oh, that settles it. You're fired.
I think Mr. Trump really bought into my security perspective, but as soon as I brought up communism, it all went downhill from there.
Hello, you're John Stuart Mill.
Good afternoon.
Have a seat. This is a Philosopher Apprentice. You know what you're here for? I'll ask you some questions, and you're gonna answer them.
Sounds good. I can't wait.
What are your views on humankind?
I have various views on humankind and believe that all political reforms should be done with one simple rule. All policies should be created by the government to benefit the individual rights and freedoms of all members of the society. I believe that the government is only powerful enough to limit the rights of an individual to a point, meaning the individual has inalienable rights that no one can violate. Individuals are all unique and deserve to be treated as such. Everybody has a certain worldview and they should all be cherished.
John, what do you believe the government should use its power for?
I believe the government should only be empowered to do three things: preserve the law, protect private property, and ensure the security of an individual. I believe that all people should have a say in who is elected into office. Therefore, I become the first member of parliament to officially call for women's suffrage. I believe that the struggle between liberty and authority is the most conspicuous feature in the entirety of history. I believe that social liberty is the most important freedom a government must bestow upon a citizen. Social liberty can be defined as protection from the tyranny of political rulers. Rules must be implemented onto politicians so they can't take advantage of people who appoint them into power.
What do you believe the most important freedom is?
I firmly believe in the freedom of speech for all, especially women, considering how little their opinions were valued in politics at the time. I believe that since all have freedom of speech, it is a responsibility of citizens to not take offense to what other people believe. And I mean that to the fullest extent. Any opinion, no matter how violent or repulsive, has no right to be silenced. However, those arguments cannot be used to justify atrocities that the public deem unnecessary. I also believe that slavery should be abolished. No being should be forced into oppression and a violation of right at such a basic humanitarian level. The government should not work towards making individuals free on a fundamental level.
Just finished speaking with John Stuart Mill. Great, fantastic. Loved his views on freedom. I was a big fan of the freedom of speech. Everyone should be able to say what they want. That was good. Everyone's opinions are very valued. Another good thing. Lot of freedoms that everybody should be entitled to. Agree with that well. But a lot of his social programs, that would cost a lot of money, and I don't want to do that. So I don't think I'm going to go with him.
He had some fantastic ideas. Fantastic, wonderful, hugely good. But I feel your programs will cost too much money, and you are not good with money. Therefore, you're fired.
That's my first time being fired. I thought I gave it 110% out there, but guess I'll have to learn from my mistakes for next time.
Hello, Donald Trump.
Hello, Mr. Trump.
Alright, you're Adam Smith, I see.
That's me.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
That's correct.
Alright. I'm the king of Twitter, and you have a Twitter account. I'll be checking yours. That'll help me see if you're qualified to be the apprentice.
So Adam, tell me your views on human nature.
My views on human nature have differed throughout my lifetime. In my first two editions of The Wealth of Nations, I described human beings as people who seek material comfort in an effort to be sociable. In my latest work, The Third Wealth of the Nations, I believe that some humans, once they accumulate a life of material comfort, often they become a creature of violence in order to obtain security for their newfound possessions. To stop this, a booming middle class must be prevalent in society in order to create a small gap between the rich and the poor. This will create an incentive within society to barter and exchange, which in turn will benefit the common good.
So people tell me, the Donald, that you were a physiocrat. I don't know what it means. You're gonna have to explain it.
I was known as a physiocrat. Basically, a physiocrat is an individual who promotes a free market economy and despises mercantilism. My anger towards mercantilism stems from the fact that mercantilism is a broken system. To prosper in it, nations must hoard gold, which increases the wealth of nobody. Tariffs are so very present for the nations that internationally trade, and it was discouraged. A free market economy that will decrease taxes and quotas on imports. It does this through the invisible hand. This describes how people act in self-interest, which pushes them towards international trade, increasing the prosperity of all nations involved.
So Adam, my chief economic people tell me that your economic strategies are hugely successful. Tell me how that works.
I believe in the free market system, where supply and demand. The government should not intervene in the matter of economics, as this removes competition between different companies. What would be best for the general economy is the government left businesses to do business. For example, if a similar product is released by two different companies, then these companies will compete for the business of the consumer by innovating and lowering their prices. This basically means that the best product is available for the consumer for the lowest price. This is the laissez-faire way of thinking. Because of these beliefs, I am considered a strong capitalist.
Just met with Adam Smith. Love his ideas. Great guy. Wonderful. I believe a lot of what he said, that the laissez-faire way of looking at economics should be handled. If we let business be business and government be government, we'd get the best of both. And that would be fantastic for members living in a nation. And when nations can trade a lot of resources with each other, then all nations could have a lot of different resources. That is great. It is wonderful. And I think I'm going to hire him.
Just got out of the interview, and how do I think that went? I think he went pretty well. He seemed to agree with all of my views on politics and economics.
Mr. Smith, please have a seat. I'd just like to tell you, you're hired.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
my new philosopher apprentice.